Hello and good evening. We're doing another TalkingTaylor. I'm Lee Duvenek. Tonight we're going to be talking to Shawn Lesniak, one of our newest men to join the company. I'm very excited to talk to him. And he's here, so let's add him and get this started. Oh, is he here though? Is the question. Shawn Lesniak. There he is. Connecting. Hi.
Hello.
I think I almost added your dad. I was like, Shawn's here. Then I was like, Shawn Lesniak
Ooh.
Sr.
He may have joined, he may not, but I'm glad to know that he's watching. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad. What a great opening segue tonight. How are you?
Yeah. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Where are you joining us from today?
I am coming to you live from my apartment in Washington Heights.
Yeah? Have you been
Yeah.
here the whole of this pandemic year? Or have you been in and out?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I've been here for a majority of my time. I went to go visit my parents a few times, but other than that, yeah, I've been in my apartment.
Where are your parents living now?
They're in Connecticut.
Is that where you grew up?
Yes.
Oh.
I was born in New Haven, Connecticut. It's like a 2-hour train ride from here, so it's really not far, luckily for my parents, yeah.
Yeah. What is New Haven like?
That's a great
It's a
question.
college town, right?
It is a college town, so like you have that aspect, and then like there's definitely a lot of smaller neighborhoods. I don't know, Connecticut reminds me, especially my hometown, it's very seasonal. So like during this time of year when the leaves are changing, being in New England, like you can't really beat that in Connecticut. So
yeah. I feel like I've done a fair number of road trips where I've stopped through New Haven and I've been like, this is lovely.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever watched Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's kind of similar to that like scene, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I'm jealous. I mean, a Texas boy, we don't really have seasons. It's just either hot or it's cold. It's like neither in between. So I always watch Gilmore Girls and be like, I just want to sip a coffee underneath like the falling. Yeah.
Like your pumpkin spice latte, very much PSL season.
I will embrace it for all it's worth.
Yes.
What got you into dance initially?
I remember watching Michael Jackson's Thriller music video.
Nice.
And I'm pretty sure that's what hooked me.
Yeah.
I was also taking Taekwondo when I was younger, and I think someone made a suggestion for me to like get into dance class to help with my flexibility.
Yeah.
But dance sort of like trumped everything else that I was doing at the time. So yeah, it really got me.
I think that makes you like the third guy in the company that has a martial arts background, because I know Michael Apuzzo has like a black belt or something.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
Alex's dad taught martial arts for a bit. So
Oh, work. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, I have like, I don't know. I didn't get very far, like I'm not a professional by any means, but yeah.
But ironically, there are so many good like men's fights in Paul's work that like it's gonna pay off eventually.
Yeah.
Like you have to do some like hand-to-hand combat and like the uncommitted or something.
Right.
It's totally gonna help.
Yeah.
So wait, remind me, what age did you start dancing?
I believe I was 7.
And were you doing like tap jazz ballet kind of route, or were you like more focused? Okay, you did the trio class.
Yes, very much tap jazz ballet. I was a competition dancer, so I did that for 10 plus years. Yeah, I love comp kids. We love being on stage, so.
And we're fast. I mean, like, not to toot our own horn, but like,
but
I do have to say, like, us that had to like do like 27 routines in one weekend, it's like we have to pick it up fast.
Yes, I remember at one point I was doing like 3 solos and like one in each different like style of
Category.
dance. Yeah,
Jazz, modern, and open.
exactly. So yeah, my brain was trained to like pick up material quickly, I think.
What was one of your favorite solos that you ever competed with? Like, what was the one that you were like, this is the platinum all-star. This is the one that like I love.
Oh my gosh, I had a lot of favorites.
Yeah? What were they?
Um,
I want to know.
but the last one I did was called Money. Have you've seen Cabaret before, right?
Yeah.
So you know the song Money Makes the World Go Round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I performed to that song and I had a whole costume. I had like these green gloves on and I mean when I tell you I was like not afraid to get into character. I had this like my prop was a rolly chair.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean imagine dancing with that on stage on Morley, like I was going crazy, doing all of my like Alsacone turns,
Were you
all
doing the
these
Alzacones in
splits.
the whirly turn in the swirly chair, just like jumping
But
around?
could you imagine? Like it, I'm
I would have
sure.
given you first place just for that.
Yeah, that was I think my favorite. It was my favorite and also like my last solo with my studio. So
Yeah.
it was yeah, it was really fun.
From there, where did you went to college after to study dance, right?
So after high school, I went to Alvin Ailey and I did their certificate program for a semester and a half. And then
Okay.
I had a knee injury. I tore my meniscus.
Ouch.
So, and it was like the surgery and recovery period was way longer than I expected it to be.
Mm,
So I was out for almost a whole year. And then it took me like another year after that to really get back into dance and figure out like what am I going to do from here. And then I ended up going to Point Park University for 3 years. So
nice.
yeah.
Oh my God, Point Park, I'm obsessed. I've had so many
Mhm.
friends that come through that program and like all amazing.
Yeah.
And all such individual dancers. I feel like they do a
Hmm.
really good job about like molding each of you, but there's not like a cookie cutter Point Park dancer, you know? Like,
Hmm.
um, but that's in Pittsburgh, right?
Yes, it is.
How did you find Pittsburgh? I remember we performed there not too long ago, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is a chilly, very steel town.
Well, I remember many, many ages ago when I was like doing my college auditions. I went to Point Park and was in Pittsburgh for a few days with my parents, and I really liked the town. I love the
Yeah,
town. I love the campus. I love that the campus was like in the downtown area,
that's cool.
and everything seemed really accessible. It seemed to me like a smaller version of New York City.
Mm,
Um, and so after I spent time in New York at Ailey, I was like, why don't I go up to Pittsburgh? Like, can't
yeah,
hurt to lose. So went there and yeah, it was very much like a small city. I don't, Pittsburgh has its own characteristics, its own qualities. But I'm really happy that I was there for the time that I was.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was okay? So Ailey, I would imagine you do like the Horton Graham scene. What was
Mm-hmm.
the Point Park program like? Like what kind of styles were you exposed to? What kind of rep were you doing?
Yeah, Point Park has a really diverse dance program. So I personally was majoring in jazz dance, but
Oh
we
wow.
had many classes in modern technique and tons of ballet classes on top of like all of the extra, we had like West African and we had hip hop classes and they just offered so many things. And on top of that, there were so many performance opportunities. So for me, it was like a no-brainer choosing their dance program.
Hmm. A
Yeah.
jazz focus. Okay, I didn't know
Oh,
about this about you,
yes.
but I'm starting to like connect some dots here, and I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We should all point out that Shawn and I had a little mini duet in Syzygy, and my favorite memory so far has been like looking at Shawn as we're like about
Hmm.
to come out of the wing, and the two of
Yeah.
us just like tearing onto it, and I'm connecting that we were both competition jazz dancers. Um, so after college, did
Hmm.
you immediately go into a company? Like, what was that like?
So after my junior year of college, I auditioned for Parsons dance. I had a really good friend in the company, and he was like, just come on, there's open positions, so why not be seen? Took his advice and I went and I got the job and I spent 2.5 seasons with them. And
Nice.
yeah, it was my first professional gig and there's so many memories, so many great memories, lots of touring,
Yeah.
a lot of
Where did you
touring.
go? I know Italy is a big stop for you guys, but where else?
Yeah, they usually spend 6 weeks in Italy every other year.
Oh,
Um, and the year that I joined was like their off year, but we still ended up going for a week, which was really awesome. But we spent 6 weeks in China. We
wow.
spent 6 weeks in Italy the year after that, on top of like a ton of domestic touring. So I felt like I was flying around. I didn't even feel like I was living in New York, to be honest,
Really?
because yeah, I just felt like I was on tour every week. It was crazy.
And the Parsons Company isn't exclusively David's choreography, right? It's a true
Hmm.
rep company. So, like, what were
Hmm.
some of the other choreographers that made work for y'all?
Uh-huh. So while I was there, Trey McIntyre set a piece
Mm.
on us. Um, Matthew Meenan had set a piece on us. Efrat Ashri set a
Oh,
piece
she's
on us.
amazing.
She's great. And
Yeah.
then, of course, Kathy McCann came to set runes on us, which was a blast. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Hmm.
What was your runes experience like?
Runes was so, after Paul had passed away, I think David Parsons really wanted to find a way to honor a man that was like a father figure to him.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how they came about selecting runes, but I remember watching the video and I didn't see it in costume or with the backdrop. I
Oh,
just saw the
interesting.
dancers. And so, I mean, I could see that the piece was very like entrancing and like spellbinding. Um, and then to have Kathy come in and explain, the gestures, and we were all kind of like, wait, we're really about to like cast some spells on stage. And then obviously when you put the costumes on and you see the backdrop with the moon, like, yeah, it's no joke. You're really conjuring up some spirits. Yeah.
For those of us joining that have never seen runes, I thought I'd whip out a little visual aid, if you will. This is a poster from the company's 1976 season. They were at the Billy Rose Theater, and that would have been the year after Runes premiered at Lake Placid. And so here's this amazing
Oh, yes.
poster from the very end
Hmm.
of the piece.
Yeah.
You can see my crazy teacher, Ruth Andrian, killing it that way. Ruthie was in the original cast of it. Um, yeah, from when I've spoken briefly to David Parsons, he
Hmm.
talks about how much it was pieces like Runes, Cloven Kingdom that he was just like
Hmm.
fell in love with. So I
Yeah.
when I found that out, I was like, oh, that makes sense why he wanted to get Runes on his own company because he's like he
Hmm.
knows how delicious that movement is.
Yeah.
Um, have you seen the tape with Kathy and David doing the fight duet from Runes?
I don't think I've seen that video. I
Oh my
haven't seen
gosh,
that
I'm gonna
video.
show it to you sometimes because when you see what the two of them do together, it's
Yeah.
bananas. They are so good. Like they get applause for that. If no one's ever seen it, it's crazy. Like there's a part where the guy reaches over and literally takes the woman who's like in a squat, takes her by the ankles, flips her, and she somehow untucks her head to come around, and she like lands on top of him. And
Hmm.
like I swear to God, they did it so perfectly, seamlessly that
Yeah.
like there was applause in the house. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
I yeah, it's incredible. I'm gonna show it to you.
It was like
Um,
magic. It's like magic, basically, what they're
yeah,
doing.
yeah. What part did you perform in the dance? I know Kathy probably like had to like zhuzh it a little bit, but like, what
Yeah.
was your specialty, if you will?
I was doing the heartbeat solo.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I enjoyed every part of that process. I enjoyed learning it. I enjoyed performing it. Having the dancers like doing, that movement. They're all like sidestepping sort of while
hmm,
you're in the center, casting a spell. And
yeah,
yeah, it was very intense. I really loved
yeah.
it.
Oh my gosh. And did Truz Novak come in to like help coach
Hmm.
with that at all?
He did, and so did James Sampson. They both came
Oh,
in
nice.
to offer advice in terms of like, intention behind the movement and a lot of advice with partnering because we were doing things. I was pressing my partners like I had never done things like that before. So it was a really exciting challenge, and it was nice
Yeah.
to have those two men come in and offer their advice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, the partnering in that is just like crazy.
yeah.
Just walking with a woman over your head for like all
Hmm.
that time during that clouds part is just like,
Right. Yeah.
um, that's amazing. And so it sounds like you made like a really deep connection with Kathy McCann, which I think
Mhm.
everybody kind of falls in love with Kathy, like when you
Yeah.
like first meet her. So
Yeah, for sure. She is just so, she's like the kindest person.
yeah,
And on top of that, she's just so passionate about Paul Taylor's work and the movement. And you can see as soon as she's like demonstrating something, like she's going back to like when she was on stage doing it. And it's just so inspiring to be in the same room with her. Yeah, she's very special.
it sounds like you kind of got bitten by the Taylor bug.
Hmm.
So we're lucky enough that you like came to join us.
Hmm.
I'm sorry that we haven't gotten to perform more, but like the little bit that we have been doing, I've enjoyed.
Yeah,
What have, I mean, you started when? December of last year?
last December, yeah, so almost a year.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And what have been some of the pieces that you've gotten to go into?
I went into Piazzolla.
Hmm.
I really loved that one. Syzygy was fun. Polaris
Oh
was really
yeah.
fun. Concertiana also fun. And then I was just getting into fibers for the Joyce right before Corona happened.
Yes.
Um,
Forgot
but
about that.
yeah, I was really happy to have learned the pieces that I got to do.
Yeah. And you
Hmm.
can like that's a fairly like wide array of Taylor pieces. I mean, like
Yeah.
Concertiana is the last, Fibers is probably like, in the like single-handed of the pieces that he'd created.
Right,
So,
right. Yeah, it was, I feel like I got a really great taste of Paul's work and, I never got to meet him, but I am learning so much about him through his work and his legacy. So, yeah, I feel like I got really lucky.
yeah. And like
Hmm.
the nice thing about you and I, because Shawn and I, though we're sitting, are fairly tall men. So,
Hmm.
we'll get to know Paul kind of through his movement, which I think is also
Hmm.
like a really interesting thing that
Hmm.
to like physically do his parts. And I literally am so excited to get to see you do some Paul parts someday.
Yeah.
Um, uh, oh gosh, I'm blanking. Um, uh, so what have you been up to this COVID-ness?
This COVID year,
Yeah,
pretty much just trying to keep myself sane.
yeah,
That's been like the bulk of my work is just, keeping my mental health in check. And then, of course,
smart.
taking class. I've been taking class 4 days a week for the past 6 weeks.
Yeah,
We had some classes over the summer and really just trying to keep my body in shape, but also find time to dive into the Taylor technique because there's still a lot that I'm learning, and there's
hmm,
still, a lot of places that I'm trying to find an initiation from in terms of movement. So it's
yeah.
important for me to keep taking class, and it's really great for me to see, people like you teach because I'm learning a lot that way as well. So,
Oh, well, thanks.
yeah.
Sean took my class this morning. He was
I
really good.
did. I love taking
I
your class.
thanks. I just what I do is I know everybody else is gonna teach rep that like is more known, so I just go
Yeah,
to the archive because I'm obviously here, and I
right.
just like steal bits of movement that I
Hmm.
don't think anybody else is gonna touch. It's my
But that's
challenge to
why I like
myself.
your classes because I feel like I do things in it that I don't do in anybody else's class. So it's
Mm.
always like an exciting surprise. I'm like, what is Lee gonna pull out today?
I don't even know until like Thursday for a Friday class.
Yeah.
Everybody, we have reached the moment where we would love to hear from you. So if you have a question that you would like Shawn or I to answer, please use the question answer. It's the little bubble with the question mark at the bottom. or sound out in the comments if you want to see. And we'd love to answer your questions. I do have one. Let me see.
Mm.
So Shawn, what is your do you have any pre-show rituals that you like to do? Is there something that like has to be done or you don't have a good show?
Um, hmm. I'd love to give myself a ballet class. Like, absolutely have to give myself a ballet class or some sort of like core abs something. Otherwise, like, I
Hmm.
don't feel engaged. So that has to happen.
Hmm.
I have like a bunch of playlists on Spotify.
Yeah.
So that's like a go-to. Also, taking a nap. I love to take a nap right before a show, just so I feel like a little energized right before.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. There, you don't have to like, rub like a bunny's foot or anything crazy mumbo
No, I'm
jumbo.
not superstitious,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid if I do anything like that, like I'm really gonna have to stick with it for the rest of my career. So, yeah.
And that I think so perfectly like sums you up, Shawn, is that like you had the
Mhm.
foresight to be like, well, I'm not going to start anything because then I'm going to have to like keep it up and like, no, I don't have time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. So,
Ain't nobody got time for that. It's true.
yeah.
Um, Amazing.
Mhm.
Still waiting for questions. People sound off. Hello. Um, so what was it like learning Concertiana? I'm just like
Mhm.
curious because I feel like I don't know. Maybe it's just because that's the only piece that Paul like made with me in it. So like I
Mhm.
never had to like go into it. But like was that a
Right.
different experience than say like going into like a piazzolla?
Not for me, probably because like you said, you were there when that piece was made. So for me, every piece is it's like fresh and new.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't. I remember. So Concertiana was actually the first piece I watched the first company perform
Oh wow.
at the Lincoln Center last year.
Uh-huh.
I remember like rushing in. I was like a little late to the beginning, so like you guys were already dancing in your beautiful blue costumes, and I'm like trying to watch while also trying to find my seat like 20 seats into the theater.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I just it was fun for me to learn because it was the first piece that I watched you guys do. So yeah, it was kind of special.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, I love I love Concertiana because of what it is. I also enjoyed having you in that trio because we finally got
Yeah,
to like talk about it.
all right.
Um, but yeah, no, that Concertiana is it was created with like I'm sure you know this, but
Mhm.
Paul just having a bunch of time where he just said like I want a mess. Like you have to make a mess happen, which it's kind of hard to make a mess and then like learn it as you're making it happen.
Right,
So
right, right.
we literally would have to stop the music and be like, "We're so sorry, Paul, but like we just need to like say like where's point A to point B, B to C,
Yeah,
C to D." But at least we like all kind of knew what was up.
yeah.
So
It was like
um,
an organized chaos almost.
yeah, which
Yeah.
like having done a bunch of other things happens a lot in his work.
Hmm.
We were just looking at a piece called Junction, which has like
Hmm.
a really slow, we call it the avalanche, but it's basically like every person enters in one at a time and you do very like slow motion movement down the diagonal, but like
Yeah,
everybody's fitting around and all this stuff. So
yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. Um, you haven't done a part created on David Parsons yet, I imagine. Piazzolla, Syzygy,
Um,
no.
I don't think
But
so.
it's gonna come down the pipeline. You just know it. Like you guys are like of the similar type.
Hmm.
Do you
Yeah.
think how do you think like being in Parsons would influence like being in the Taylor style? Because it's like it's connected. Like it has that kind of like
For sure.
energy.
Yeah. I mean, being in Parsons, like, and now being in Taylor, like, I can see where David's some of his inspirations came from, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I feel like uh, maybe some of the inspiration that's not the word I'm looking for. It's like something about the intention behind the movement is
Yeah.
similar between Paul and David. Um, but I feel like what I would bring would be like that athleticism and, that ease just to get like down to the ground and down into the floor. Like
Yeah.
that's something that is sort of helping me in this transition into Taylor. Yeah, I just feel like when I step into the studio, I'm like, all right, let's go. Like, you guys
Right.
want to run this 10 times? Let's do it. Like,
Yeah, because I think, one of the things that David took from Paul was that kind of
mm,
like he knew he could like push a dancer, and like that's kind of the incredible part about it, right? Is like
yeah.
getting to see. So like, yeah, having been to a Parsons concert or five, I've definitely noticed like, yeah, they're working hard. Like we're working
Yeah.
hard and they're working hard.
Yeah.
Uh, are you excited to go into any dances? Like, is there anything that like you're kind
Mm.
of like, this is a part that I like want to dance, or like a dance that like you're just dying to get into?
Esplanade for sure,
Yeah.
hands down. I think right underneath that would be Oriole. I really
Yeah.
love that piece. Yeah, I love Oriole. And Company B too. I mean, these are all pieces that I watched you guys do, and I was like, "Ah, I wanna be doing it with them."
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really happy to watch you guys perform those
Mm,
pieces, and that obviously inspired me to want to be on stage doing it myself. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Yeah. Those are like the three, you know, masterpieces of Paul Taylor's. So you
very
can't
much
go wrong
so.
with any of them.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I'd be fascinated to see like where you end up in Company B. Um,
Hmm.
of course, my story was that I taught. Your audition was the first audition that they like were like, Lee, we need you to teach. You've reached that level of seniority, and I was like,
Who, me?
me. So I didn't get to see you dance, but I did have to
Yeah.
teach that Company B phrase, which I still apologize for. But I heard you did great, so like, thank you.
There
Because
was a
nobody
lot of
told me.
material in
I
there.
was like, how much stuff do I need to take? So I basically
Right.
was just like, well, I've done this section, that section. I strung them all together.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure Adam, who was in the other group, got to
Uh,
like do the easier version that they were like, Lee, calm it down. I was like, okay,
oh yes,
sure.
there was. Yeah, my group had like the extended version for the audition, but I mean, it
The
was
7 inch
great.
single.
Yeah, and we had, what else were we doing that day? I think we were doing Scudorama.
Yeah,
I can't really remember all too much, but we just
there was
like
some
even that
scud.
day, yeah, we got like a very good taste of the Taylor rep. So
I think you got thrown like musical offering right at the end, which I was like,
yeah,
choice,
yeah.
choice. And it was probably a part made like it was Rob, so it was like made for
Hmm.
like a small dancer, and you guys
Yeah.
were just like, ah, ah, ah. It was just like, wow, they're doing a lot.
Yeah, yeah, we made it work.
um, Somebody asked what was the audition process like, if you want to talk about what that
Hmm.
experience is like auditioning for the Taylor Company.
For me, I didn't expect to get the job last year. It was my first
Yeah,
audition with the company, and I really thought that I was gonna be auditioning for Taylor for like years.
yeah,
That's just how I had it set up in my mind. So I was approaching everything, not as a student, but like I just wanted to soak up as much information as I could and like grow from that. But I just remember feeling calm, which is the exact opposite of what I normally feel at an audition. But
yeah.
knowing some of the Taylor dancers and knowing that Kathy was going to be there and knowing that you guys had seen, some of you had seen me perform at the Joyce that year, I just felt, I don't know, I already felt like I was with family. So it didn't feel nerve wracking at all.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. Yeah.
it was really
And
fun.
that's awesome. I mean, like, I think that is the dream state that you want to go into.
For
And
sure.
yeah, no, I'm like jealous that I didn't get to that point sooner, because I did that on like my fifth audition. But like, good on you, Shawn.
Yeah.
Um, I'm so excited to see the places you will go. I'm so excited to keep working on Peter Chu's piece because
Oh,
like that was
yes.
fun. We have a duet,
Yes.
people, like
Yes.
tall men throwing each other around. But yeah, it was such a pleasure to get to talk to you tonight and
Likewise.
yeah, get to know you. And I cannot wait for us to get back in the studio together and
Absolutely.
dance our hearts out.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for joining us. I want to remind you, if you have not signed up yet, we have a wonderful Taylor virtual event happening November 19th. All you need to do is to go to the link in our bio, register, and you'll get to come in. We have a whole day planned for you. You'll get to go to the website. We have class and conversation series going on. We have a bunch of other stuff. Plus, we have an amazing show. We've been filming dances outside, inside, masked up. Yeah, we're going to show you what you got virtually. So we would love for you to be there. Shawn and I will be there. Everybody at the Taylor Company hopes that you will be there too. Oh, and it's free. Thanks, Laura. Everybody have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful weekend. And we'll see you in a couple weeks. All right. Thank you, Shawn.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.